Hello all, this is Amanda. The knot that I'm going to show you today is the double hitch knot. It's a really versatile knot that you can use in so many different ways that it really is quite liberating when you learn it. It's one of the three main knots in macrame. I have an example here for you with the double hitch knot on this simple keyring. Other uses that you can have for it: you can put it into micro macrame, so with smaller cord, and for example in this sort of tribal style necklace we've got some horizontal double hitch knots there as well as some diagonal hitch knots there. And I'm actually going to show you today how to add the double hitch knot to a wall hanging. Get that nice and straight for you. Okay, so with this wall hanging, I've simply attached these cords with a lark's head knot. I'll link my tutorial for that below, and I've also added some square knots. So we're going to make a diagonal double hitch knot. Okay, but you can really go in any direction that you want to with it. The double hitch knot has a cord which is often described as the filler cord because it goes inside the knots. It's also a bit like a lead cord or a guide cord because you always point it in the direction that you want your line of knots to go in. So this one is our filler cord for now, or our lead cord. Move these ones aside. So we want to go down to the center of this wall hanging with this filler cord. So to make the double hitch knot, we're going to take the next cord along. We're pointing the filler cord in the direction we want to go, like we're drawing with it. Take the next cord along, make a loop over like that. Okay, so a loop over, and you go around the back, and keeping this nice and tense, keeping the filler cord nice and tense and pointed in the direction you want to go, you pull your working cord through, and you have to make another loop now. So same as before, with that same cord you're going over the filler cord again, around the back, and pull it through. And you always have to do it twice like that, otherwise your hitch knot won't be secure. So we then take the next one. So we've got the next cord, which is next to the filler cord, and again we're keeping the same cord as the filler cord. It's going to take us right down to that middle cord there. So again we've made our loop with the second cord. We go over, around the back, and pull it through. And we'll do that again. We'll go over, around the back, and keeping the filler cord nice and tense in the direction we want to go, we pull it through. Notice I'm pulling the other cord outwards away from the wall hanging like that. Okay, and so we'll do it again. So we go over, around the back, and pull it through, and then we go over, around the back, and pull it through. And I'll show you with the next few cords till we get down to the center. I'll go a bit quicker, but I'm always doing it twice and keeping the same cord as my filler cord. So once, twice. Note the directions in which I'm pulling each of the cords each time. So we'll loop it over again, once, twice. And you'll notice my cords are quite long, which makes it a bit trickier. They're also what we could call macrame string or single ply macrame, which probably isn't the best kind of cord to use if you are just starting out with this knot. It'd probably be better to use 3-ply macrame cords or even macrame rope, which is braided. That's simply because if you need to undo knots, they tend to stay more intact with the 3-ply or the macrame rope, the braided stuff. But yeah, this cord is really lovely when you're well practiced with it, and it's also the ideal cord for making, say, macrame fringes. Okay, and so we go right down to the middle, and it's quite nice to start off doing the double hitch knot on a macrame piece like this, because you've got this pattern here just to work alongside, so that's kind of a guide as well. Right, I'll show you coming in the other direction. So it's the same knot, but it just looks a little bit different because it's on the other side. So here we have our filler cord, and you take the one next to it. So again, looping it over around the back and pull it through, and again always twice, so loop it over around the back and pull it through like that. Okay, so you see I'm pulling it outwards in that direction. Okay, we'll do the next one here. It over around the back, pull it through, it over around the back and pull it through. And I will just continue now until we get to the center, and then I can show you how we join up the 2 filler cords. So this is a lovely soft cord to work with. The only issue is that if you need to undo the knots, as I was saying, it's not the greatest because it's only single ply, so it would tend to fray more easily. It also tends to have a sort of a slightly more rustic sort of finish in a way than, say, the braid. Simply because it doesn't keep its form quite as much, but then that can be a nice look in itself anyway. So I'm always checking that I'm doing it twice, because sometimes it's hard to tell from the front if I've got distracted. So I just look at the back and you'll see that they all look the same. So I'll just show you that in a moment. So if we turn that over and we look at the back, you'll see that they have a particular look to them with the cord going diagonally across there, and then you know that you've done them twice. If you only do the knot once, it will be quite loose as well. So we're nearly at the centre. Okay, and that's the last one on this side. So 1, 2, and then all we just do another double hitch knot to join them up. So this can carry on being our filler cord, but it could be the other one, it wouldn't really matter. So I'm going to do another loop now with the previous filler cord, so that's now looping over, becoming a working cord, and we'll pull that through and we'll loop it over again and we'll pull that through there. And so we've now added that nice V shape onto the wall hanging. So As I mentioned before, you'll find links to how to do the other knots, the lark's head knot and the square knot below. Thanks for watching everyone. Bye.